Good morning, everybody. How are you on this? It actually is a beautiful Monday here in Florida. I don't know what the weather temperature is, but it's bright and sunny and it's probably quite hot and humid. Good morning. I have to tell you, we are actually not going live on Facebook right now. It seemed like most of the people that were watching on Facebook were also watching on YouTube. And by doing it on Facebook as well, at least it prohibited me from being able to chat back. So I love being able to kind of chime in and chat a little bit in here. So good morning to everybody. I woke up this morning, Shrina, with a beautiful little text message from you guys. And it was nice to wake up early, see a nice little sweet text message. Kind of started my day off right because candidly, it's been a rough morning already. Originally my calendar today, Sorry. See? Well, I'm telling you, it's like crazy. No, it's fine. Originally today was supposed to be pretty easy. I was going to have coffee time, and then I'm going to a client's home, former client, current client, friend, really kind of, thrown in there. I'm so envious of their ability to do lots of DIY projects. So I was going to come by this morning to visit with them quickly to take a peek at their home. If they decide to sell it kind of in the near future, mostly just to kind of see them. And that was pretty much what was on my schedule. And then as of, 24 hours ago, everything just started kind of rolling. It's like phone calls, other appointments, offers are coming in, need to follow up. We have a final walkthrough for a client, a builder called, a quick little emergency powwow. So all of this stuff is kind of crazy and chaotic. So I'm going to try to stay to my time limit today and not ramble too terribly much. But again, I want to just shout out to a couple of you. Good morning, Richard Scott. You were the first one to comment this morning. So good morning to you. Thank you for watching, Gary. It is so good to always see you. Gary is a former client of mine. And so no Monday morning blues musical, please. It's so nice to be able to kind of reconnect, honestly, with clients, because I always feel a little awkward sending them text messages after they've closed, unless they reach out to me first. But and then Shrina, I just mentioned my beautiful text I got from you this morning. Again, thank you. I can't wait for you guys to get here, and it'll be super exciting. Of course, Eric and Allie, of course. Tracy, good morning to you as well, and to Robert Robinson. Hey, how are you guys? So things going well, loving the Cowboys there, right? I have Cowboys. Okay, so I have to tell. It wasn't a good night for the Cowboys. It wasn't a good night for the Cowboys, but I'm saying the little icon or the little picture.
Oh, okay. I was like, not the Dallas Cowboys.
No. But I have to tell you, so when I was younger, I very much paid attention to football. My dad watched football, so it was kind of, a way to kind of bond with him and connect with him. And I enjoyed it for what it was. And then as I opened up my dance studio, which is, what I had for years and years before I moved to Florida, the sounds of football in the background was indicative of me choosing recital costumes. So for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, think about, a dance school, a dance studio, teaching all the children dance. And then the end of the year, they have their big recital or their show. Well, of course, those costumes have to be chosen and ordered. This keeps freezing up on me, by the way, but that's okay. Yeah, it's okay. If it's freezing up, I'm sorry. So we'd have to, sit and choose that. So that was the time of year. Inevitably, Eric would watch football. I would sit on the floor sprawled out with 30, 40 different costume catalogs, picking and choosing. And boy, that was a thing. So the sound of football in the background kind of brings back memories. Kind of like opening up a can of Play-Doh, like you go back in time. But I do have to tell you about the Cowboys. So I kind of had a crush on Danny White. So back when Danny White was the quarterback, that's kind of how far back I go with the Cowboys. All right, moving on though. Good morning. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but good morning to you. Ron Peterson. Hey, it is early for you guys. I'm glad you are home in California. Can't wait for you guys to get back here, and we need to chat, kind of touch up, follow up. They were just in town not too long ago, out touring homes and going through some things. So now they're back. But yeah, let's reconnect and figure out kind of what we might want to do. Any other next steps that I can do for you. And then Mira, so good to see. Look at all these people. This is amazing. Kim, good to see you again this morning. And then Sydney, you are like the diehard. I think you should get an award. We'll talk about that here too shortly. Ron Cheryl. Oh my gosh, it goes on and on and on. Quentin Kennard, good morning, Mr. Kennard. How are you, sir? How is baby boo? Daniel and Erica. Okay. Oh my gosh. If I just continue to go down this, I'm never going to get to all of the fun stuff that we have. So if I haven't called you out by name yet, then I will do so later, but I love you. I love all of you that are watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's get started. Just to kind of go over just a little bit of life. I have to do my mug of the day, but I haven't seen Jarrett on here yet. Have you seen him, Eric? Our friend from Wales? Jarrett. So I did my special mug for him this morning. He is from Wales. This is from our family vacation. I think last week I showed you the cover of our scrapbook where we went to England, Ireland, and Wales several years ago. And we went to the Kidwell Castle. There it is right there, the Kidwell Castle. Obviously my last name, Kidwell. So it is the Kidwell Castle. Kidwell Castle. And it was from our visit when we were in South Wales. So I did that specifically for him. So cheers to you, even though you're not here today. I'm going to cry, but that's okay. All right, coffee to everyone. All right, so if we see him, if you see his name pop up, let me know, please. All right, so coffee of the mug, or coffee of the day. So that was it. So by the way, that was, I think, that was the second time I travel abroad. The first time I went to Japan with the Governor's School for the Arts, back when I also taught dance for them in their musical theater department. We did a 2-week tour in Japan. That was my first out of the country experience. And then our second was our whole family going to the England, Ireland, and Wales. And honestly, it was so beautiful. We want to go back. That's a place where I wish I had had more time. I know that my daughter would probably love to go there and stay for like a month and just sit and write. It's absolutely beautiful. So let me see. I'm going to see if, by the way, did anyone see the Sunday Drive yesterday? And Eric was giving us examples of his vocal stylings. Did anyone see that? World-class entertainment 24/7, he says. So funny. He is kidding. Yes, he is. Okay. I'm going to do a couple of questions and then we're going to go right on into what's brewing because I do have to pay attention to the clock today.
I had a couple of early questions where they didn't put a Q, so you might ask.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So if you do have a question, just as a reminder, if you do the Q with the colon, that'll help me when I just cross-reference it like I did just now. So Quentin, his question... See if I can get it to pop up here. Are your Waterbrook clients experiencing a large appraisal gap? Because you are. Ugh. So it is not. It is not uncommon. Now I'm assuming you are referencing new construction, right? So has it happened? Yes. There is a situation where I have had that happen to a client now, not so much large. Well, any appraisal gap is significant, candidly. But we were able to get a little extra concession from the builder. And I do mean like little, like it's not a lot, but enough to kind of, help offset. I will tell you, I have had some new construction ones. I had one out in Serenoa Lakes, which was like $115,000 pricing appraisal discrepancy. And that was a tough one. That was not a good one. So, I have to tell you, Quentin, I think, the builders are doing lots of things to kind of help offset. But where you are in the process, if you have already contracted, you've built, and you are to the point where the appraisal is now in play, you kind of contracted a little bit earlier. I think right now, people that are contracting, the builder is trying to figure out ways to offset that. Because yes, they're definitely, it's not news to me. I hope yours wasn't too terribly large. I'm really sorry you're going through that. And to be honest, like the clients that I had that had the really large over $100,000 one, I mean, there's not much they could have done. It was just they continued forward with the contract and just had to, that was a hard pill to swallow for sure. Okay, let me see if there's Daniel and Erica, you have got so many good questions. Okay, is there a wrong time to bring up what you see as mistakes or deficiencies on framing with your new construction home? Wait till the pre-drywall inspection or as you see them. Okay, you guys, you should write a book on good questions to ask. So first of all, it's your home, but it's not your home until you close on it. So the builder is building it. Can candidly, I am of the mindset, do not be complacent. I don't want anyone to feel like it's not your position to say anything. But I do think that you need to understand that the builder and other third-party entities are coming through, and additional builders, the building supervisors. There's multiple people walking through your home. And I can tell you, I have walked through enough homes under construction where the county inspectors have taken their orange paint or their red paint and they're circling and their arrows and they're marking on the floor and they're saying not plumb, warped, needs to connect, move back 5 feet or 2 inches. The county inspectors are paying attention. So just because you see something at first glance, I don't think it's necessarily necessary to jump on the builder immediately, because chances are this is what they do for a living. So chances are they have seen it. Remember, your builder is not the one that's swinging the hammer. So your builder is the one that's going to walk through the property and continue to oversee, and they're going to continue to make notations, and they're going to continue to follow up, as well as, again, their building supervisors and construction supervisors and all of that. But if you see something that is seriously a real stress factor, then there's no harm in mentioning it. But I do tend to say, wait for that pre-drywall walkthrough. Make any notations of anything that you see. If you're following along and you see something that's giving you a question or a concern, keep an eye on it. If you don't see that anything has been addressed, it hasn't been noted, then if we do that pre-drywall walkthrough and it's still sitting there, then chances are, slim chance that it got completely overlooked, but larger chance is that perhaps it's still up to code, and so it doesn't extend beyond the threshold of the county inspector. So anyway, I know that's a long explanation. So my point is, make notes of any questions that you have. Maybe you can send them to the builder at one specific time. If it's not something that is just keeping you awake at night, then let's wait for that pre-drywall walkthrough. And that's that opportunity to go through so that the builder can explain kind of where we are. And if you have any code questions and I have a question, excuse me, a client that just asked a question about the spacing of the frame. And so the builder was able to, answer that question back. No problem. I mean, anyway, that's a great question though. So again, I would say wait, let the builder build. And that doesn't mean complacent. It doesn't mean turn a blind eye. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let the builder build, let the inspectors inspect, let the process continue, because there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that you don't know of. And I can guarantee you they're going to take care of you. But if you have a question, text me, call me, let me know. I'll find out for you. Okay.
You have so many good questions.
I know.
Bang through what's brewing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through what's brewing real fast.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yes, I will. He's stressing me out. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to what's brewing because we are on a time crunch. So what's brewing? Okay. All right, we're going to go through these very quickly, as my producer is telling me. But no, there's a lot of good questions, and I definitely want to get to them. Okay, so what's brewing? So today is all about awards and recognition, and there are some amazing things we want to share with you. First of all, this one is near and dear to our heart because it's about Orlando City, our soccer team here, our football club. They won the U.S. Open Cup. They beat Sacramento. I have to do my notes because Eric will kill me if I say those wrong. But yes, so if you've been a follower of Orlando City, you know that it hasn't always been a great ride. We've been to many of we have all the garb. Okay, Eric's bringing us. Okay, yes, I got it. Okay, all right, hold on. Orlando. I have it upside down. I do have it upside down, don't I?
Well, it kind of goes around your neck and then it fits together.
Okay. Well, anyway. All right. Well, anyway. So here's our Orlando City. So we have bags of Orlando City jerseys and the scarves and all the little promotional items, merchandise you get when you go to the games. We've been to quite a few of them. We have not been recently because we just don't have time. But I will say that we were there in the stands cheering them on, even when the outcome wasn't in their benefit and or in their favor. And then they did win I'm reading it again, the U.S. Open Cup. They beat Sacramento, which means this is their first trophy that they've received. So that's huge. And that means that now they are in the Champions League, correct?
That's true.
Woohoo! That means
that's Benjamin Michelle who scored in the U.S. Open Cup.
Okay, excellent. So yay, go Orlando City. That is super exciting. So the next one is the Hawksmore Cup. So Hawksmore, this giant trophy was something that we donated. We found out our community here in Hawksmore does a lot. I will tell you that they, a couple individuals specifically, really try hard to put together a lot of activities, not just for the kids or for families or for adults, but really to try to make it a warm and welcoming community with lots of things, no matter what your preference, whether it's Easter egg hunts for the kids or whether it's cornhole championship on Labor Day weekend, which is really what prompted this. So there was this big Labor Day weekend cornhole championship. And so Eric had this bright idea, like the Stanley Cup, to create this monstrous trophy that says the Hawksmore Cup by Heart and Home Orlando. And the idea was that whoever won the cornhole championship would receive this, and then they would basically it would then be handed down or over to whoever won the next big event. And that is very exciting because the winner of the Hawksmore Cup, let me see if I can get this, Eric, it's not coming. It's the Paul Lenny one. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's Paul Lenny. So Paul is a former client of mine. They purchased their home in here. I helped them through that. He has gone beyond our expectations with having fun with this Hawksmore Cup. He has taken this cup around the neighborhood, posing with friends and family, random people walking dogs, out to businesses. He even took the cup to Disney. He took it to bed with him. He took it in the bath with him. He has taken it to restaurants. And this is so incredibly amazing. Look, I think that picture is hysterical because she's like, seriously, we're taking this trophy everywhere. There he is again, restaurants. Again, that one of the pictures they showed was, this one is at Disney, but so funny to see the security guys. I don't know if that picture is in here, but the security people at Disney with the trophy just cracks us up. Excuse me. I would tell you that's really awesome. So our hope and expectation is that this will just kind of continue to create this fun community feel and vibe. And I could not have asked for a better champion of all time to kind of be our first recipient of this, because it's going to be a hard act to follow for anybody that is going to go from there. And then the final is the Orpies. So this is an event put on by the Orlando Real Producers here for the Orlando Realtors here in Central Florida. And I'm not a social butterfly. I don't actually go to events very often, but this is one that I went to because I was very honored, as you see in this photo. And the award is right here behind me. Here it is. Yep. My award that I was holding there, I am a top 50 agent in Orlando. I can't do it. This is like so bad. Okay, hold on. There we go. That better? No. There we go. Anyway, there's over 24,000 realtors here in this area. So to be recognized as one of the top 50 out of 24,000 was a little bit mind-boggling to me. I tell you all the time, I don't pay attention to numbers. That's Eric's job. I pay more attention to the people and the process. And so to kind of have this wowzer surprise was pretty amazing. So that's okay. As my grandmom say, I'm tooting my own horn on that one, and that one makes me real happy. So anyway, so that was our week of awards. And I will tell you, did you by chance put in the one of Carmody?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, there's,
terrible.
Hold on. I'm going to find it here. Find it on my phone.
Okay,
Yeah. Find a picture. I have to do one more award because this is an honorary one. So I have...
she's going to be patient.
She's going to have to be patient. That's right. So my client has... she's going to have the honorary... Well, they will have the honorary award of being the most patient clients in the universe. When we discuss new construction... So first of all, this is the photo, okay? This is Larissa is over here in the pink. I'm backwards. Right? That's Larissa. She works for Dream Finders. She's absolutely freaking amazing. Larissa, you know I love you. She's amazing. That's me in the middle. And then that is my client. I don't want to call out her name, but she's amazing. She knows who she is. They have waited, I believe, 16 months. 16 months from the time she contracted, not to when she closed, just had the pre-construction meeting, like literally just had the pre-construction meeting. And here is, let me see if I can do this one. Can I turn it? No, I can't. But anyway, so this is her having the pre-construction meeting. I was there with her, so was Larissa, and that's the builder. And that's a long time to wait. So when we talk about new construction and that it's an absolute obstacle course, lots of things that delayed the permits for theirs, but literally 16 months from the time that she contracted to the time that we have the pre-construction meeting, and they're just now breaking ground. So that's a bit extreme. So anyway, so that's an honorary award. I will get one for her. All right, we're going to go to a couple questions, right, Eric? This is, I like this question. This is a really good one. Hi, Amy. What are the biggest incentives from new construction builders you're seeing now? Honestly, they are all over the map. Some of the builders are paying all closing costs, so you pay zero closing costs. Typically, it would be maybe a $5,000 closing cost contribution. Maybe $8,000. Then it was starting to get a little up there with maybe $10,000. Some of the builders were doing a $15,000 flex cash. Flex cash meaning it's basically a lump sum of money for you to then apportion how you want, whether do you want it to go to off the lot premium or at the design center or off the price of the home or towards closing costs. And then it went to like $25,000 flex cash. And again, you can kind of allocate that however you want. But yeah, so really what I'm seeing right now is all of your closing costs being paid. If you are lucky enough to contract in a community where there's a design center opportunity for you, because remember, we are still at the point where a lot of the builders aren't providing a full a la carte experience for you at the design center where you pick from packages. Then there are some builders that are doing, large closing cost contributions and then a $15,000 design center incentive. So they're getting up there, which is definitely, that's good. But some of the negatives are, and some of the other things too, is that they're locking you in on a rate. D.R. Horton has some, fantastic incentives right now. Some of which I believe locking you into a 3.99 interest rate. So there's lots of good ones out there happening for sure. All right. B. Emma, my mom contracted in West Haven and Ovation last October. They say construction will start in January. Do you think this is true, or will January turn into March or longer? I do think January is probably more realistic. Excuse me. They've had a lot of issues. Not a lot, but that whole, as we've discussed every week, Ovation has had some issues, some setbacks, partly unavoidable, partly avoidable. And I say avoidable, meaning a lot of the builders were pre-selling. They were really ramping up. They were riding this ride as best they could. And they were selling and doing all of the stuff really before they probably should have. And honestly, probably before they would have in a more typical real estate climate. But we haven't really had a normal real estate climate for a while. So I think a lot of that delay and frustration is that because they kind of were letting people contract and giving information prior to really being able to move forward full throttle. So in answer to your question, I think January is probably a realistic timeline. It just depends on where your mom is in the line of homes that were sold, as far as which foundations are going to be happening first, which pre-construction meetings will be happening first. So will your mom start in January? I don't know, but will they start to be a little bit more fluid? I think January is probably a correct timeline. Remember though, I don't work for the builder, so anything I'm saying is based off of my expectation and knowledge and conversations I'm hearing. So I hope so. I hope it'll go sooner for you. Okay, let's see. If looking at a neighborhood that does spec homes, is there any way to get certain color and design preferences, or are you stuck with what the builder picked, even if it's early in the building phase? Joe, that's a really good question too. So, and I'm going to say 98 to 99% of the time, if you are choosing a spec home, if it is already under construction, you can't change anything. If it is early in the process, you can't change anything structurally, because remember, as we've discussed, structural options is the way that things are permitted with the county. So that cannot be changed. That affects your plumbing blueprints, HVAC, all of that, right? So you can't change anything structurally. But if you're just thinking, oh gosh, I'd really rather have, instead of having the gray cabinets, I'd really rather have the white ones. Probably too late too, because remember, with the building material issues, the builders are ordering things much further in advance than they used to. But I have had the situation where clients were able to secure a spec home or an inventory home that was early enough in the process where they did have the opportunity that they could go in and choose the design options. Or sometimes they'll even say, look, you can change the carpet and the tile, but nothing else, because everything else has been, like, the kitchen's already been ordered. So, it's really it's going to be kind of a toss up. So in most cases, I would say you're probably stuck with what they have already done, but it's always worth asking, because you never know. You might be in that magical unicorn window threshold where they say, you can change this, but not that. Okay. Another B. Okay, thank you. If you're already contracted, will the builders offer incentives? By the way, the starting price of my mom's house has gone up over $100,000. Yes! Woohoo! That's right. That's awesome. So basically what that means, obviously, if you'll understand why I'm excited for her, is that when she contracted, since that time, the base price of that home has already increased. And that's why getting in with new construction communities earlier on can be a huge advantage, because as they continue to sell, those base prices continue to increase. So you could theoretically close on your home with a lot of, equity in your home, so to speak. So that's good. Congratulations. So when you lock in, and this is another great question, people always want to know, okay, well, when I contracted, you were only offering $5,000 in closing costs. Well, now 3 months later, you're offering $25,000 in flex cash, and that's not fair. Yes, it is. The builder will tell you, they are very, very, very transparent, that your price and your incentive is locked in the day that you sign your contract. And that's it. They're not going to go back and then, oh, there's a better offer. It's not like when you go price match with some of these retail stores out there where you can show them an ad from Target and they'll give you the same price. It doesn't work that way. When they give you that incentive package, it is based on that exact time. And you can see why. If you think about it, if that home has already increased, again, theoretically, in value, if the base price has now gone up substantially, there's already a lot of equity. So why is the builder going to give you more incentive? There's no need for that. You got what you got, and now you're reaping the benefit of that. Even if your incentive package was a little bit more stingy at the time, you're still getting a nice lump there at the end. So yes, your incentives are locked in the day that you contract, and you can't go back in time. And you can't jump forward in time. Yes, sir.
Put your hand to your ear like this.
My hand to
I'm
my
getting breaking news.
I'm getting breaking news.
The paver companies.
Are they really?
They're here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you, the paver company is here. So our pool, if you've been following our pool build process, it's been something. And we've been waiting on the pavers, and they delivered the pavers a few days ago, but now the paver crew apparently just arrived. That was my breaking news. So we will follow up with you on that too. So if you're interested in our pool, again, keep watching. We'll give you the updates. Okay. All right. Let me see. One more question, and then we'll go to something else fun. Susie Q, are the builders still doing the escalation clauses? No, not to my knowledge. Really the only builder that was doing that was Dream Finders, as we've discussed, back in time. And I really do. I feel like they were coming at that from a good spot in their heart, because they were trying to let people secure a home and a home site and pick and choose and go through the whole process far earlier than they could have or should have. And that escalation clause was basically the builders kind of their safeguard to themselves of saying, look, we're going to let you contract now, but we're still moving dirt on that community. So we don't really know, how long it's going to take us to get there. And candidly, this was in the throes of all the building material shortages and delays. And we're still there, by the way, but this was still in that time. And so the builders had to protect themselves by saying, look, if the price of lumber goes up 25%, we're going to have a problem. And so that's why they did that. Now, I will say I've only had that escalation clause come into effect for a few of my clients, and some of them that have built with Dream Finders, it never came in play. So, but in answer to your question, I do not believe they are doing that anymore. I think that was kind of an experience and something that they were trying to go with. But to my understanding, they're not doing that anymore. Okay, so oh my gosh, breaking news.
There's like 5 people here that are taking the orange fence down. Like they're doing it.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the breaking news? There's like 5 people here. They're taking the orange like fence that's around the pool, and they're working.
So they're like it's happening.
It's happening.
But tell them why that matters. What happens after pavers?
So after the pavers come in our pool, guys, that means that we go for inspection. And once we go for inspection, they can actually do the interior speckled finish on the inside of the pool and fill it.
And we can swim in it.
And we can swim in it, honey. Yes. Yeah, we had the rock guy was here the past couple of days trying to finish up that project. Sorry, my mouth today. I will tell you, Lucy, our dog, the $1 million dog, is a very good protective dog because this morning she was barking. Oh my gosh. And finally I was like, what is happening? So I went and I could see that she was standing in our yard very aggressively. And a guy had walked in our fence and then he walked around the front door. He clearly turned around and ran when he saw the dog barking at him. But he was here to he had a shovel. He was here to start kind of prepping the edges or something. I don't know. Anyway, so breaking news, pavers are here. They're getting installed. We're going to be excited about that and we'll share that with you. Okay.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. Okay. Okay. So let's go to, what are we going to go to, honey? Let's go
you
to
big, small. You can do what I'm watching. You can do Zillow.
Let's do
Zillow.
We
got a lot of people from the UK.
Do we have a lot of people from the UK?
Scotland, whatever.
Okay.
They're saying God Save the King, by the way, instead of God Save the Queen.
God Save the King. Absolutely.
Zillow.
All right. So let's do Zillow. We're going to do Zillow Gone Wild, and then we'll come back to some more questions. Okay, so this is exciting. This is a beautiful home, and this one was modeled after an actual castle in Scotland, right? This was built in the late 1800s in Wichita, Kansas. Can you imagine them building a castle or modeling a castle in Scotland in Wichita, Kansas in the late 1800s? 3.5 million, 17 bedrooms, 19 bathrooms. Do not want to clean those. No, thank you. 14,000 square feet. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love castles. Like, I love castles. Love them, love them, love them. So if any of you anywhere has any great ideas about castles that you can go in and go tour, that was probably my favorite part when we went to England, Ireland, and Wales, was going to see the castles. Absolutely amazing. So this home, if you've got some spare change laying around and you want your own castle and you don't have to travel out of the country, then, let's just contact the listing agent for the home in Wichita, Kansas. And that's pretty spectacular, though, isn't it? I mean, come on. Look at the sunset back behind it and the trees and the water in front. That's absolutely stunning. I'm always fascinated with how they built these so long ago. You see now all this massive equipment that people have, and back then, I mean, what a feat and what artistry. Okay, I digress. All right, let's go to another question. Susie Q. Are the closing cost incentives only if you were getting a mortgage? If so, would it make sense for a cash buyer to take a small mortgage and pay it off shortly after closing? That's another great question. Yeah, so you do still get the incentives for closing costs if you are, even if you're a cash buyer. It really will vary from builder to builder, but yes, if you're a cash buyer, you still get incentives. Absolutely. It's the only thing that typically can be tied in is if there is a closing cost, thank you. If there's a closing cost incentive, if there's let's say there's a $10,000 closing cost incentive and a $10,000 design center incentive. Okay. If you use the builder's preferred lender, then typically that $10,000 closing cost incentive is tied into you using that lender. So if you were using an outside lender, let's say you wanted to use your own bank, whether it's Bank of America or Chase or something, that $10,000 closing cost incentive is not valid because that's only tied into you using their lender. However, if you're a cash buyer, that's different. And then in most cases, they're going to honor a closing cost incentive. So that's a really good question too. I like that one. Did I miss any of these? Oh, Eric. Oh, this is one that you reposted from somebody. From Javi. What would you choose between Heartwood Landing, Ridgeview, Hills of Mineola, or Hamlin resale? Or resale? Hobby. Sorry, my apologies. I mean, if you mean which is my favorite community, honestly, I like all of them for different reasons. I'm going to be completely honest. I think a lot of that is going to be really what feels right to you, who has the floor plan that's going to work for you. Heartwood Landing is at the corner of Heartwood and Marsh Roads. We've referenced that one before. Topography-wise, it's a little bit down in an area where it's a little bit more hilly, so it's kind of a little bit more down, lower elevation, but it's Dreamfinders, and I love their floor plan. So they, of course, have the Avalon and the Tidewater and the Anna Maria. Lots of those really good floor plans. So if you like that floor plan, which I do love that builder, they have a lot of versatility and flexibility in their floor plans. Heartwood Landing is awesome. Ridgeview has both Landsea and Pulte. That, by namesake, Ridgeview, it's up much higher, so it has a higher elevation. There are some gorgeous home sites out there. One of the things that I like with Ridgeview is Landsea Homes has that absolutely large Experry home. It's stunning. It's a beautiful decorated model too. So if you haven't, go through my YouTube channel, Heart and Home Orlando, and look for the Exbury, EXBURY. And you can look at that model home. I mean, that's a large one. And I will tell you that out in that Lake County, in that Claremont / Mineola kind of nugget, it's not easy to find larger homes with larger square footage. And so that's kind of nice. So I'm very partial to that Exbury out in Ridgeview, but I don't know what you're looking for. Hills at Mineola. Again, you've got Ashton Woods, which is their Starlight series over there. And then, of course, you've got Meritage. I've got lots of clients that have contracted out there. I think that community is going to be absolutely stunning when it's done. The piece of earth that they have purchased out there is beautiful. And then, of course, you've got some other things. And if we compare all of those nuggets, all of that area, or Hamlin resale. Hamlin, hold on. I'm going to do it. All right, you got it? Go ahead. Again, this is a personal preference. Ethically, I cannot steer you to or from anything. I say that to my clients all the time because we are bound by a code of ethics. So it's really about finding the right place for you. I personally love where I live here in the Horizon West area. I love the proximity to the parks. I love the proximity to everything. This is my space. This is where I call home. But I would have no reservation whatsoever of any of my friends or family or my children living in any of these communities that you just discussed, because I love all of them. I like all of those builders. So, so again, it's just a personal preference, but, okay.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
They're doing the travertine.
Breaking what?
They're doing the travertine.
Oh, they're doing the travertine. Okay, so that's the part that goes on the top around the pool. The travertine is gonna have like the little bullnose edge that goes around it. This is very exciting. A lot happening today on Coffee Time. Okay, all right, let me go to another fun thing for us, shall we? Let us do big and small. We're gonna do big and small. So let's do that. First of all, let me pull this off and we'll do big and small. Silver. Oops, sorry. Oopsie. Okay. So again, if you watched us last week, we did big, small. The weeks previously, we did like 4, 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7. Basically, what can you get for those price points in this area? As I just spit, sorry about that. So this currently is the biggest home that just came on the market here in this area. It's in Waterside in the Strand section. Waterside, when you go into the community, it is gated to the right, which takes you to the more luxury homes on the Strand. To the straight ahead and to the left is the other section. This community started out as a Cal Atlantic community. So a lot of those Strand homes started as a Cal Atlantic floor plan, Cal Atlantic design options, and then Lennar purchased Cal Atlantic, and then it was kind of finished under the Lennar name. Just extra information about the neighborhood. So this one is beautiful. Waterside is the name of the community. 6 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. This is on Johns Lake, by the way. Johns Lake is a beautiful lake. It is a boatable, skiable, paddle boardable, canoeable lake. There's a lot of people that enjoy the water sports and that lakefront living on this particular lake. And not all Florida lakes are really conducive to that. So this is definitely a find. This home does not have a pool. However, take a look at that square footage. It's 6,377. This home has a basement. Now that, and again, we have these video tours of the models when the community was first opening. There were a few of their models had not all of them, by the way, a few of them had the opportunity for a basement, basically because of the piece of land. Florida does not have basements. Do not get all excited, people. Those of you coming from up north going, ooh, 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 Amy just said that they have basements. No, we don't. Calm down. This particular community had a few home sites that would accommodate some sort of a basement, whether it was finished or unfinished. So this one, 6,377 square feet, definitely has a basement, but no pool, listed at almost 2.4 million. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And then as far as the smallest home that just went on the market, this absolutely adorable house near downtown Winter Garden, which is kind of near Plant Street, where the West Orange Trail is, the historic downtown Winter Garden, where you have the farmers market. So this is that little area, but it's a small house, 1,325 square feet, but it's only $315,000. And I say only, first of all, $315,000 or $315 $1 bills spread around your mattress is a heck of a lot of money. But comparatively speaking, for what is going on in the market in Winter Garden, that is a good price. Now, again, very small, 1,325 square feet. And for 4 bedrooms, I would be a little bit worried as to what the size of those bedrooms are. But if you're looking for a cute little quaint place, I think that's a good option as well. All right. So any more breaking news?
No.
Okay. All right.
A cooler on today.
We have a cooler. They've added a cooler. That means they plan on staying today and working through the heat. Okay. Let me see. Okay. From Rhonda Santiago, a cash buyer, best deal, is it new build or resale? Oh, that's a good question. So cash buyers for a builder at this point doesn't really matter. You're not going to get any extra love or goodwill because you are a cash buyer. Because honestly, the builders at this point they're happy to sell to anybody because the market has shifted a little bit. And so they have more inventory. And so a cash buyer, again, it doesn't mean a lot to them. However, for a resale seller, yes, it means a lot. So if we had buyers come in, this is actually going to be a good way to transition into my next topic too. If a cash buyer for a current resale home, that's a great deal. So I think right now, cash buyer resale is a great thing to do because you could get quite a deal on that. So that's going to actually take me to this. So this actually went active Thursday, 2 weeks ago, I guess. We actually have an offer on the table. It came in last night and we are discussing it, but I thought that this would be a really good opportunity based on that question that we just had to talk about kind of where the market seems to be shifting to slightly. So if you remember months ago, inventory homes were at a bare minimum. There was nothing. It was like the hurricanes coming and you're trying to frantically go to Publix to get your supplies. And there's like one roll of toilet paper left on the shelves and everybody's trying to get that one roll of toilet paper. They don't care if it's the right brand. They don't care how much it costs. They just need it. They want it. And that's the way houses were. It was the feeding frenzy, right? So everyone was like, I just need it. I need it. I need it. I'll give you my firstborn child if you let me get that house. Well, now, things have shifted a little bit. And now there's a lot of, if there's more homes on the market, that means there's more homes for the buyers to choose from. And that means foot traffic is a little bit slow. This also the time of year. I mean, there's a lot of other outside variables that are kind of coming into play. But one of the things that builders will definitely say is no contingencies. They do not want you to have a home to sell contingency, maybe a home to close contingency they might talk about. And briefly, I'm going to go over what those two things mean. So a home to sell contingency, which is what's tying into this particular, the little picture that I just showed you there, is that sometimes people are like, well, I'm moving to Florida. I have to move to Florida. I want to move to Florida, whatever your reason is. I'm moving to Florida, but I don't want to lock in on a home there. I can't contract until I don't want to sell my home here in Iowa until I know where I'm going in Florida. That stands to reason. None of us want to be homeless, right? You want to know where you're going and then you'll sell your new home. Well, it's not, for a long time, that's not been a possibility. You need to have already made that leap of faith and put your home on the market so that you're like, okay, I'm moving. I am at the cliff here. I'm getting ready to jump off of it and make this forward leap to Florida. So a home to sell contingency means if somebody is going to submit an offer on a home here in Florida or anywhere where you're moving to, but you still have a home that you have to sell. Not only do you have a home that you have to sell, but it's probably not even on the market yet. Or if it's on the market, it's not under contract yet. So that means you have a home to sell contingency. If your home is on the market and you already have an offer on it, it's under contract, they've already paid their escrow, their earnest money deposit, they're going through inspections and appraisals, like that train is already going, it's left the station, then that's considered a home to close contingency. Far more desirable for any seller, whether it's, I hear the machines outside.
It's all happening.
It's happening. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like squeaky. So that is far more desirable for any seller, whether it's a resale home seller or whether it's a builder, is the home to close contingency as opposed to home to sell. So back to where I am. I have seen here recently several interested parties in listings with home to sell contingencies. I have one under contract now with the home to sell contingency. Candidly, the home that they're trying to sell has not had a lot of foot traffic. I'm not their agent. This is the buyer's agent that's helping them sell their home. Not a lot of activity happening on that one. A little scary because that's a liability for the seller. That's a liability for my client, for my seller. And I have the offer that just came in has a home to sell contingency. And then I have another potential offer for another listing, kind of the same thing. So that's kind of where we are. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you just have to understand that's a huge liability for a seller to take their home off the market and allow you to contract on it when you still have a huge hurdle to go through yourself. But that's kind of the way it used to be way back when, ancient history, but perhaps that's, starting to come back a little bit. Okay. All right. A couple more questions and then we're going to wrap this up shortly. Okay. Daniel and Erica, if a better new construction home falls out of contract in the same community, is it possible to switch homes? Would the builder even entertain that? In most cases, no. Bother. Again, it depends. It really depends on the situation. So, okay, for instance, this is a real life example of clients of mine. They were under contract to build new construction. Took a long time for it to even get started. It's just now breaking ground. When they first did the pre-approval and the contract, interest rates were much lower. And even at that time, it was at the higher end of their threshold financially for what they could afford. During that time, interest rates went up. Unfortunately, career-wise, a company acquired the company. There was a little bit of a pay cut in there. So that wreaked havoc with my client's financing. And even though we expressed to the builder early and said, hey, look, this is happening. We're a little bit concerned before they've even broken ground. Maybe we should cancel the contract because they're not going to qualify. When we get to the point at the very end where the builder's preferred lender goes back to digest all of the information and accumulate it and get everything prepped and ready for that clear to close right before closing, they're going to realize that he can no longer afford this home and it's all going to fall apart at the last minute. But that's a disadvantage to my client who's telling us right now we can't afford it. There's some issues that we can't overcome. He didn't go out and buy a new sports car. It's not like he quit his job. It's just life, and they did say they are not going to refund his earnest money deposit, but if he wants to switch to a different home in the community that's less expensive, they will transfer that initial earnest money deposit over there. And so it will not have a negative effect on him financially. So in that case, they will let you switch. If you are still qualified and approved for the home that you are currently under contract to purchase, they're not very inclined to have you switch. And if you made any choices, if you went to the design center or if you chose your structurals, forget it. I mean, they built that home for you based on your specifications and your taste. So again, a couple of different scenarios. We know your specific situation, but that's a great question on a little bit broader scale. If you picked and chose structurals, if you picked and chose design options, and now you just want to change your mind, they really won't entertain that. But again, there are some situations where you could potentially switch, but it's more of a desperate situation and not just a whimsy change of mind. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
There's a few more in there, I think.
A few more?
Yes. Here.
Okay. If looking at neighborhoods that do the spec homes, is there any way to get certain color? No, I already did this one.
No, this one. Decos.
I just did that. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Okay. What are the price points for Hills at Mineola now for a 3-2 rancher? So in Mineola, and Eric just double check now, this is as of maybe right this second, and it can change, as I will tell you. Breaking news. So I can tell you that on Mondays, most builders have their sales and builder meetings. And so when prices change, it is typically after those meetings, or maybe, again, every builder does it differently, but most builders are on Monday. D.R. Horton does them on Wednesday. But so right now, the Valencia floor plan starts at $405,990. So think about $406,000 as a base price. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home, which is 1,922 square feet. So just to give you an example, so that's where they're starting, around $406,000 for a smaller 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. I know you asked for a 3-2, but comparably speaking, that's about where we are. Okay, can you guys hear all that grinding? Because it's really annoying.
Yeah,
so I should
probably top off where the scratching goes.
Oh, very good. Okay, so let me do this. Let me pull this off, and let's do what I'm watching, and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay, so we talk about what I'm watching, and again, I say this as though there's an endless amount of opportunity for me to just sit and watch. And I will say sometimes, like I said, my daughter and son-in-law are living with us until they close on their home here in like a week and a half. So, to spend more time with them, we'll go up and we'll watch an episode of The Walking Dead or something, in which I'm still on, by the way, because it's going to take forever to get through that series. However, all of my Disney friends and fans, Dreamlight Valley was just released, which is not a show. It's not a series. It's a video game. Okay. I'm not a video game person, but I will tell you that I worked Animal Crossing like no other mid 50-year-old woman probably did during the quarantine when COVID initially kind of really manifested itself and everyone everything was shut down. So for that 2-week period of time, I will tell you it was not a great time for all of us, but it was a lot of time to play Animal Crossing. And so I learned how to play my little Switch. I'm not a video game person, by the way, but my family convinced me to do it and I loved it. Dreamlight Valley is a little bit of a blend of Animal Crossing and probably some other video games. But my daughters, I guess, have been playing it. And so they downloaded on the Switch for me. So I started playing that too, which is great because usually at night when I say I'm watching something, it's, excuse me, I'll go to bed and then I just lay in bed. A lot of people scroll through their phones. I don't usually scroll through my phone. I usually just like mindlessly watch something on Netflix. So that's kind of what I'm watching. But now that I downloaded Dreamlight Valley, I started that. I know I'm so stupid. I'm like 54 years old and playing a video game about Disney, but woo, it's awesome. It's very exciting, by the way. So yes, my Switch is on the charger right now, and rest assured that tonight when I go to bed, I'm going to load that game up and I'm going to continue to go through all of my quests. Okay. All right. So
here, you can show this if you want. It won't turn sideways for some reason.
I know. Okay. So
I'll show people what all that noise.
All right. So this is all the noise. Okay. Oh.
So he's grinding down the thing for the traffic.
So that's what's happening in our backyard right now. So yesterday we actually emptied off the lanai of all of the lanai furniture. Thankfully we did that. And it's all in the garage now because all of the pavers are going to take over the lanai and then out all around the pool. So we're super excited. So hopefully we're going to have lots of fun stuff to do. Okay. Okay. So I am going to answer Eric's question. Eric's question is, would people like it better or worse or the same if we made coffee time a more evening affair, 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays? And honestly, the reason we ask is, we realize that Mondays at 9, there's lots of other things that people might need to be doing or wanting to do on Monday mornings. It was just a question, just trying to see.
Both is an option, but
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, both is an option.
I think actually we have it on the calendar to do it this Wednesday.
I think we do have it on the calendar to try it out and see if it's easier. So
Wednesday,
if you have an opinion, if you are of the mindset that you like to join us every once in a while, do you think that Monday morning at 9, like we're doing now, works better for you? Or do you think you would enjoy it a little bit more if we did it in the evening, perhaps on Wednesdays around 7 o'clock? So if you don't mind commenting in there, if you have a preference, you can say, Mondays, Wednesdays, both, neither, keep it the same, whatever. Do you have a preference? Let us know, because we may need to shift some things around. And speaking of shifting some things around, I just want to make sure, did I get anything else? We've done all of our fun stuff. We did. So that means, my friends, that I need to go because it is almost 10 o'clock. I have a phone call scheduled in 20 minutes, and then I have to be somewhere in 45 minutes. So I'm going to have to go and get to my job. But as always, I just cannot tell you again how much we truly appreciate you guys hanging out with us. As always, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. We really do. And we thank you so much for being a part of, for this. And honestly, for our, being a part of our lives, because you guys have, you have become a part of who we are and what we do, and a big part of why we do it. So you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye.